So I have a question for you. What is a game? How do you define a game? I had a look for some definitions when this particular offering raised this question to me, and the answer seems to be a state of some question and confusion, even amongst the experts. The idea of a game seems quite subjective. Um, do you need to pay money for it? Do you need to have someone that you're competing against, whether directly through a competition or indirectly through the maker of a computer game, and you're now competing against his game and him via the game? Um, does that is that required to make it a game? Do you have to have goals? Do you have to alter the state of affairs? Um, can does the state of affairs not particularly change, but your own character? They might change. Does that count as the state of affairs, even if you have no effect on the greater game world? It's a fascinating question, and one that I think is quite subjective. I think different people have different ideas of what makes a game, like the way that people have different ideas of what makes a sport. Do you have to be running around in a field for a sport, or is chess a sport? Is competitive gameplay a sport? As in computer games, and you know, a lot of people will say no, it's not a sport, because they think of a sport as something like soccer or rugby, where you're in some kind of physical conflict with someone directly. It doesn't count if it's through a screen and a keyboard. Whereas to other people, sort of esports are very much sports. People train for it. They're focused. They have sponsorships. They have disciplined um, intent. There are major competitions. There's a lot of money in it. Uh, it's very hard to fit these terms into one box or another, and it's the same with games. So I guess for sort of our practical everyday use, where we're not actually trying to define the term but just use it practically, I think this is not a game. I think it could be, though. That it's really why this interested me so much. So let's have a look at this. What it is called Telescope Simulator. It's very obviously Japanese. A lot of Japanese text here. Um, it's it's a little emulator that has, I assume, a fake Starscape, and then some simple controls where you can move your kind of telescope view around, and it emulates a telescope, so you can try it out and get a feel for how it works, I suppose, before you buy one. Although I don't think this is quite an accurate simulation for going to buy and use a real telescope. But it is an interesting tool um, to mess about with, more like a toy than a tool. But I think it could be made into a tool or a game very, very easily if the developer wants to take it further, which I hope he does, because there is a lot of potential here. And if you look at the other things he's made, he has actually done a lot of work on other games, quite number heavy games. So clearly he is a bit of a mathematician as well as a game maker, which makes for some interesting games. Anyway, let's have just a quick look at it. Clicking the run game. It's made in Unity. That seems to be the dev's logo. So yeah, this is your interface. You are looking through a telescope screen, as it were. The world is rotating, therefore causing the starscape to rotate around you relatively quite quickly, because you have the ability to change the rate of rotation. So in this case, one day is 300 seconds. You can change the speed to 1 minute, 60 minutes for something a little bit closer, 1,436 minutes. It's probably about as accurate as it gets. So those are your speed controls. You can zoom in or out with the mouse wheel. as it is. And then the most interesting part is you can use WASD or the arrow keys to move your view around like a telescope, presumably one on some kind of electric mount, which is obviously the coolest way to have a telescope. You're on a road, a green plain somewhere. Yeah, and then you can also change the kind of mount that you have, which it tilts rather than turns. I'm not quite sure how the different mounts work, but I found them very interesting. You can go over until you invert your view, and then the arrow keys work backwards, as it were, because you are now upside down, which is also a fun little element. But yeah, this is the nature of the game. The stars sort of rotate around as they would on a rotating planet, and that's it. That's the beginning and the end of it. I personally would love to see more gameplay elements, some kind of sci-fi invasion thing. You spot alien ships coming in, and you have to kind of report them. You would have the sort of the angles and things displayed here, showing which way you're pointing, and that, and you report the aliens come in so they can get taken out, or a Lovecraftian horror. It's a giant monster that you're observing, and it could be like in a visual novel style or something like that. I know Cthulhu is very popular in Japan as a tabletop game, so I personally hope it goes that way if the developer chooses to take this in a game direction. Alternatively, if you could map a realistic starscape onto this and orient this self, it could almost become like a scientific instrument where you're looking at real stars displayed virtually. I don't know if that would have any scientific use or validity, but it would be an interesting progression for this application rather than a game in that case. But either way, I like this a lot. Arigatou gozaimasu, developer-san. Do appreciate it, and I would definitely like to see more from it. So, dear viewers, my recommendation is come and take a look at this. Take a look at the other stuff he's done. Give him some love in the Itchio interface. And likewise, if you like this video and you found this an interesting little look, please click the like button. If you want to see more Itchio game reviews and more non-Itchio gameplay, hit the subscribe button and bell, because that's how you get notified, if YouTube deigns to notify you, that I have posted more stuff. But really, the thing I would love to see is just more comments. Tell me what you guys think a game is. Tell me what you would like to see the developer do here, where you think this could go. Tell me if you want me to look at other things in particular, because I would love some guidance as to what you guys want to see. That's obviously my goal to give you that. I've never gone directly down. Oh, it's a crossroad. It took me way too long to realize that, but there are in fact 4 roads leading out, and we're standing on a crossroad, which I suppose is a way to orient yourself, except that there are no markings to differentiate the roads. So that doesn't really help, but it's something, I guess. I thought the road came around very quickly. I just thought I was turning much faster than I thought it was. That's weird. Anyway, so yes, all of the previous, leave comments, visit the game, give the dev some love, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.